Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today. Today, we're going to be talking about the upcoming Lionsgate portal, and it opens fully on August 8th. But truthfully, it's already streaming in. We're already receiving all of these luminous codes from the sun, and you're already feeling it. So, a lot of people are reporting difficulty with sleeping and a lot more drive and fire, passion for some kind of project, maybe what it is that you're meant to do next. So there's a lot of energy that's already streaming in. In my opinion, it opens on the Leo new moon, which occurred on the 24th of July. Some people say that it opens on the 26th, but in my energetic connection to it, that's when I feel those gates actually open. This year is going to have a little bit different energy than years past. And it's because we have entered a period of time now where some people say ascension status. You can call it different things, but to me, it's the collection of harmonic frequencies, consciousness that we have on our planet that's being held at a coherent resonance. So it's being held at the same level long enough that we are in a place where we can hold more light. So not only just individually, but collectively, and more so even on the planet. Because I mean, maybe you've noticed we've been dropping a lot of density, and that allows you to absorb more light. We'll get more into that in a minute, but I really want to just kind of point out the difference in what we are going to be experiencing this Lionsgate as opposed to previous Lionsgate, and why this year is so much more significant and different than in times past. So the Lionsgate is going to have a trinary convergence. And we know that it's usually connected with the pyramids, which is also a triangle, I guess you could say. So it's still in that same kind of triangle energy. But this year, it's going to converge between these pyramidal structures that are crystalline and the solar harmonics, which are the frequencies coming in through the sun, and then also Earth's aquifers. So if you look at this a little bit closer, you can see like solar harmonics would be the sun, central to all suns, the solar aspect. It's the masculine aspect of Father, Mother, God. And then the Earth's aquifers is the emotional body for Earth. And that is the mother aspect of Mother, Father, God. And then those crystalline structures that hold the plasmic light that is kind of coming in is the diamond light or the Holy Spirit. It's the spark of creation. So almost everything that you're going to find through creation and through, like, even in our more modern spiritual approach to understanding our soul technology, our inner technology, and how everything kind of works, we're going to find most of the time that it's some sort of pyramid type structure. There's always three, right? It's the law of three. So with this Lionsgate, the celestial significance is typically when every year we have this conjunction where the star Sirius meets with the sun, which this year will fully activate our soul star chakra. And then it also connects through Regulus and the heart of the lion, aligning to the solar logos, which is the sun, right? So it's through the sun, central to all suns, and it awakens the divine masculine protector template. And then lastly, it always kind of lines up through the Giza Plateau because it mirrors Orion's belt. So that's what typically happens. But this year we have the ability to bring in and hold the light different because the structures, the pyramids, are able to vibrate differently because of the crystalline grids that have been activating over the course of this year and some of last year. This year, the plateau, the big pyramid, actually is connected to the throat chakra. I'm sorry, is it throat? Third eye, sorry, third eye chakra. And that's Egypt, is the third eye chakra for the planet. And then the structures that they found beneath the big pyramid, and actually they're finding that there's even more to it beneath the whole plateau, but it's an etheric pump, like the etheric heart pump. This is what the high councils, the Syrian high councils, are explaining to me. So that was activated this year. So now we have this plasmic, energetic high heart valve or pump that is bringing in more of this astral, etheric, diamond light energy. And because of that, that is what is allowing us to anchor into the crystalline structure for Earth to be able to anchor, to hold in, bring in our Christed self or oversoul self, our higher self from our soul star. That's how we're able to even descend into physical form, is because of everything that has been happening this year. And why? Because we're able to hold the consciousness at a higher level on with a collective of people and energies, you beautiful souls out there that are holding this crystalline template within yourselves. So what we're going to find is everything that's happening with Earth is actually happening within our bodies. Our body is our own temple, right? So we're going to hear very similar connection points as we move through what's actually occurring with the Lion's Gate. It's happening with Earth because Earth is ascending. It's happening with us because we are ascending. So let's unpack it a little bit further, okay? So let's see. I just want to see where I want to pick back up. Okay, so we know that this year is going to be different. The pyramids, because of that connection with the etheric heart valve, being able to pull up those plasmic diamond light codes, which are in the ether level, right? They're in the ether. That's the element of it. Because it was able to activate, there's going to be this pulsing of light that's going to be coming from the big pyramid, which is actually the design of pyramids, is to hold energy when the energy is coming from the cosmos onto the planet, because almost all pyramids or sacred sites are built on top of nodal points that connection points for all of Earth's ley lines. And I think it's like every 600, see, there's 666 miles or 6,660 miles. I'll have to check on that. But those nodal points have pyramids built on top of them, and they hold and harness that light, which then activates the inner waters of Earth. And it's all for this planetary ascension and connecting into the next light body for Earth. Much like Earth has light bodies, we have light bodies. We go through 12 light bodies, and so does Earth, right? You have to have all of this crystal structure activated within you to be able to hold the frequency of your oversoul stream coming into your physical form. This is all a part of the ascension story, right? But I feel like it should be called the descension, because we're actually bringing our higher self into physical form, into this body, into this density, right? Into a new level of density, but density nonetheless, into the physical. Okay. So this light is going to be then projected from the big pyramid, and it's going to be pulsed out, and it's going to then start connecting into a bunch of different temples that are Lemurian and Atlantean temples. and they're also built on these nodal points, right? And so it's going to awaken these temples. And by awakening them, it will allow Earth's crystalline structures to fully become activated. Earth's planetary grid is shifting into this higher level of consciousness, or more crystalline, this crystalline structure. Okay. So one of the Atlantean temples is kind of being focused in this whole story that I'm giving you guys right now. And it is called, the Syrian High Council calls it the Heart of Sirius. And it's located along at the end of the Sierra Leone River, where it converges with several other rivers and empties into the Atlantic Ocean. This temple it holds the sacred priestess memory from Lemurian and Atlantean timelines. And it is a huge component for holding and anchoring different light codes for not just across Africa, not just across the continent of Africa, but also for all of Earth's aquifers. And these are the deep water aquifers that hold the diamond light plasma water. So it's a really important point, and it's built on a nodal point, of course. And they're showing me that it is a submerged temple. And I feel like at some point this temple may become known through water decreasing around that particular area. There's going to be a lot of structural changes, physical changes across the continent of Africa. And there's going to be a lot of different water receding, going down, and water coming up. There's a lot of blue holes within lakes and riverbeds that most largely go unknown because we don't empty lakes to see what's at the bottom. We have been getting more information because of the new equipment that they have, where they're able to scan, much like what they saw beneath the Big Pyramid. That was first this technology of being able to have this infrared vision of what is happening under Earth. So it's the same kind of concept with these riverbeds, with lakes, with large caverns that are underneath even the first layer of crust. So these giant blue holes, or aquifer veins, is what they are, look like to me, because they go into these deeper aquifers in Earth, and this is where the water exchange happens. It comes up and down. Anyway, I don't want to get too far into that, but it's really relative, because a lot of what's happening right now with the water is all about purification. And my guides are actually showing me that throughout the month of August, we're going to continue to have more rain, more water events. And actually, my guides were calling August the a major cycle of purification through fire and water rituals. So they're showing me that there is going to be, and remember, everything I'm saying about Earth is the same thing that's going to be going on within our physical bodies. August, there's going to be a lot of purification. So that's the flame of resurrection, which is the dazzling white ray, and it works with the root chakra. But going back to the Earth, they're showing me that there will be a lot more volcanic activity, lots of molten lava moving, because that is the lubricant for the tectonic plates. And so with this activation of the crystal grids, it is going to then start moving and shifting the tectonic plates. But first, it's going to be through the activation of fire, volcanoes, and the plasma, the molten lava, to be able to move things into position so that there isn't as much destructive force with those tectonic plates hitting. One of the things I see happening in this in the month of August is I see like fire raining from the sky. So what I can't tell is if it's some kind of asteroid event or cosmets, comets that are falling from the sky, or maybe it could even be a volcano going off. But the other thing I kept hearing was it's a holographic projection. So I don't know if it's something that is going to be um, be exactly that, a holographic projection meant to create fear or instability. So we'll have to see what that's actually going to look like, but it's very interesting nonetheless. So keeping in mind, right? So fire, hot, passion. It's going to be this uprising of passion, uprising of heat. And our physical bodies, we are going to be connecting into this energy in the masculine, divine masculine, feminine balanced, which is renewed passion for something. It could be renewed passion in relationships. It could be a renewed passion for what you want to do for work. But it's tied to your emotional body. So if you are on the other end of it and you're still working through a healing cycle, you might be releasing emotional waters or emotional imprints from your cells and all the emotions wherever it's held in the body, which is in the fascia, cellular memory. It can be in the muscles, and certainly in the brain and in the heart. So as you're burning those off from the waters of the body, it could be that maybe there is some high kind of emotions, big emotions you might be experiencing as you're moving through these processes of letting go of the density so that you can absorb more light. That's something to really kind of pay attention to. Another thing I'm seeing is that it makes people who are unaware of what might be happening in the cosmos more aggressive, more unpredictable. So I keep hearing from my light team to pass along using your awareness and your discernment when you are in public, making sure that you have some sort of exit strategy is what I'm hearing, like pay attention to your surroundings, just be aware. I think it's important right now. So we know that all of that is going on in our internal body, but with Earth, again, we'll have the volcanoes or could even be fire. Again, anything that purifies, alchemizes. And then the water is being coated with plasmic light, and like even the rain, these massive amounts of rain that we've been having is creating is clearing the atmosphere of like chemtrails and of other toxins from smoke and everything else, and it's pulling it into the earth so that it can be transmuted and cleared. But it's also carrying the light codes that are streaming in, and that's descending into these deep level aquifers and awakening that water with plasmic instruction from the solar codes. And that then starts this triggering and rebalancing of this water that is restorative. Think like the fountain of youth, when it bubbles up from a deep level aquifer that has all of this regenerative and resurrection kind of energies connected to it, where it is turning everything back into God code. So this water that moves up and down, and it's already been doing it. So some of it is, the way I'm seeing it is not like this destructive force where all of this water is going up and down at the same time. It is this gentle rebalancing of the waters. So one of the things I was seeing is like wells running dry or lakes emptying to nothing, and then water coming up from somewhere else. They showed me like that there's like, even if you look at Lake Michigan and Lake Huron, Lake Superior, those lakes, they now discovered have like a mini Stonehenge, and that they're full of these huge blue holes. So that they can't even explain where they came from or why. So there, things like that are going to start showing up, without getting too much more into that. So what else is going on? So as that water, those deep level aquifers, this is the holy, called the holy water of Sophia. And I channeled a meditation from Mother Mary, that came to me, and it happened to be on the feast day for Mary Magdalene, which I didn't even know. But she wanted it to be a surrender to the miraculous, surrender to miracles, because they are all possible. It's a matter of our own perception and belief systems. But when you see a miracle happen, then you have to believe that miracles can happen, right? So what she was showing me is that there are going to be miracles, and to witness them and to connect to the energy and the feeling of those miracles, because the more that we can embody the miraculous and knowing that miracles exist, the more then miracles will continue to happen. So that particular meditation, I'll link it below, but it's called I think I have the Leo new moon meditation, but it actually is about the holy waters of Sophia and recalibrating our inner waters. So that's something you might find interesting. Let's see, what else did I want to share with you today? So as Earth is moving through this awakening and this rebalancing and embodying its higher form, which would be Terra, the goddess Terra, instead of Gaia, it's the same thing that we're doing, right? So those deep level plasmic waters that I was talking about, the deep aquifers in Earth, they exist in between the 4th dimension and the 9th dimensional bandwidths of frequency. And they are going to have different kind of microbes. And as you may or may not know, our body is made up of at least 60% microbes that synergistically works with our body elemental and our physical body to be able to create the experience of living in the 3rd dimensional physical reality. And so what's going to be happening is we're going to have new microbes that are going to be more about connecting crystalline tubulars and crystalline infrastructure, architecture within our physical body, new microbes and bacteria, so that we can hold more light, which is really amazing. And it's very similar to what's happening with the Earth, as the Earth is activating all of those crystalline planetary grids and deep levels of water. It's exactly the same thing. And it's because the plasmic codes that are coming in from the central sun through all of the solar activity that we've been having, because we're in solar maximum. And what they're also showing me is that we are going to have a ton of solar activity over the next 3 or 4 weeks. And this could actually create power outages, and where the power is out for several days at a time, or rolling blackouts, or I guess they call it brownouts. It creates spark because it's electric. It can create fires. It can create problems with electrical equipment. So think about like flying or being on transportation. So transportation could become disrupted. Internet could be down for a few days. So this is what they're talking about with the fire as well. They're talking about the solar codes, the solar activity that's bringing us the solar codes is also, creating a little bit of disturbance. And I guess you could call it a lot of disturbance, but we'll see how that plays out. But just being aware of that. Again, the guides are saying to be aware of your surroundings, be aware of the frequencies and the energies that are around you. How are you feeling? Are you sleeping? If you're not sleeping, it might be that the energies are so intense. It might be that we are having solar wind or solar storms, and you can look that up on space weather. So, being on top of those, being on top of information allows you to be able to navigate the times that we're in, rather than just kind of being pushed around like waves, right? So being out in the ocean, and those waves will just keep coming. So it's like, inform yourself so that you have a surfboard that you can get on and ride the waves, instead of just kind of being pushed around by them, right? So information, knowledge, and there is enough enough connection points out there now about solar weather and what it actually does to us physically. It's even on like NASA. That's not woo woo. So there's a lot of very physical components to what we're moving through that can be kind of tracked, right? So the other thing that they're showing me is Kundalini energy that's rising not only in the planet but in us as well. So there might be some very deep, they're showing me like deep earthquakes, earth tremors, movement deep in the earth, may like big earthquakes in like the Atlantic ridge or the Pacific Ocean, specifically at the bottom part of the Ring of Fire, and then also near Alaska and Oregon. Because if you think about it, like there'll be a lot of venting of gases that'll come at one end of the rift, or one end of the Ring of Fire, and then at the other end there'll be a lot of either volcanic or tectonic plate movement. So there is this interplay going on with Earth trying to vent off some of the combustion that's going on in gases that are happening with all of these Earth changes. So hopefully it'll be as stay and remain as gentle as possible. But that is one thing that we are going to be working on and doing within the Lionsgate live ceremony that I'm offering on 8/8 at 11:11 a.m. Eastern time. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to be working and channeling the high Syrian councils and the councils of light. There is a lot that we have planned for that. I have a ritual box that goes along with the ceremony. So if you want to take part in that, do it soon so I can make sure to get you your ritual box that goes along with it. We're going to be working with the waters of Earth. We're going to be working with our own waters, and it's preparing the way to be able to integrate your Oversoul stream, to have the crystalline structure and the architecture that you need to have to be able to bring in as much as your higher self as you're able to in this initiation, this first initiation of planetary embodiment. And this is the first one. Next year it will come back around again, but to be able to hold as much of that light as you can. So we're going to be talking about that in the upcoming ceremony. But again, just being aware that the Kundalini, you may have some Kundalini energy that if you haven't had that kind of experience before, it could just be energy up and down the spine, as they call it, spinal sweeps. It's unlocking at each vertebrae, making sure that the axis is open all the way down your spine, because light codes move through your spine all the way down to the coccyx of the last vertebrae or bone in the spinal column. So spinal adjustments, keeping your spine in perfect health, especially at the C1 or access point where it moves, cervical spine connects to your brainstem and into your brain. So that's something that I always work to make sure I have open and clear. It helps with like headaches and inflammation as well, and the nervous system, right? So there's lots of different tools that we have for managing some of this, and I can share that with you on another video later if that's what you guys would like. So just make sure you let me know in the comments. I think right now I'm going to kind of like end it here because it seems a lot longer than what I kind of wanted to do. But just know that one other thing they're talking about is the electromagnetic field, right? So our electromagnetic field is shifting. And it is also shifting with Earth. I mean, many of you may have heard about the magnetic poles shifting, right? So if that, if it's a complete pole reversal, that could create a lot of upheaval on the planet. Hopefully it's not going to be like that intense, but I am seeing the South Pole changing and unlocking. So there's some sort of unlocking where I see ice moving, where the poles that hold the ice in place at the North and South Pole or whatever is starting to move. So there's something really different about how the poles are opening and letting go. It's like a pulse of energy that's coming in, especially at the South Pole. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are huge earthquakes there, or volcanoes, or something going on with the pole, the South Pole actually moving. And then same for the North Pole. There is going to be some movement there that I'm kind of seeing. And there could be different unlocking of waters again, even if it's ice, because I'm also now hearing again the same thing about the microbes, because they're the microbes that have been in deep freeze forever, and the ice will then start to melt and be deposited into the oceans, and then start moving through different channels, right? So there's something around all of that as well. Okay, so I'm just going to remind everyone again, it's below. I'll have that meditation posted. It's a great meditation. You set your intention at the very beginning, and it's about 20 minutes. Really relaxing and beautiful. And then the Lionsgate ceremony is on 8/8. If you want to do that, there will be a link in the description box. We'll show you everything you need to see to be able to register for that. And so I guess I'm going to leave it here. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Sunday, and that peace finds you, and that you are just in a state of grace for this beautiful energy that is coming in, for all of us to embody more of our most luminous self. All right, you guys take care, and we'll talk soon.